Good morning, everyone. My plan is to start very light. So the first question is, why are we talking about communication? And the reality is that, willing or not, also when we do single surgeon, single port surgery, we are working in very, very large teams. Most of us have theater staff, doctors on the wards, nurses, and the glue of a good working team, the glue of teamwork, is communication, the ability of passing message, and effective ability to pass in message. What I'm going to present is based on the work done by two psychologists that currently are working at Harvard Law Schools. There are situations in which it's very easy to communicate. So the message goes across very easily, the other person understands, we are all smiling at each other, and everything is absolutely fine. And then there are different situations. Sometimes in board meetings, we have different views, the oncologists, the respiratory physician, the surgeons. And during this presentation, what I would like to do is to look at what happened when the conversation becomes difficult. Now, first, when is difficult to communicate? When is the conversation going a little bit sour? And the answer is when we fear, okay? And there are fear of consequences. And the consequences are there if we talk, if we share the issue that we have, and also if we don't. What about the situation where we really think that we should be doing something with the patient, and if we say we know that we're going to fight hardly with the oncologist, and if we don't say anything, what is going to happen to the patient? And in those situations, feelings are heavily involved. So difficult conversations are about feeling. But how we identify when we are stepping into a difficult conversation, and the easiest way of doing that is actually to notice when we have the feeling that it's hard to talk about something. Okay. And that is the moment in which there are three things that are happening. And we are going to decode a difficult conversation now. So a difficult conversation is three conversations that are going in parallel. The first conversation is about the story, about the facts, about what you think has happened. And is the what happened conversation. The second conversation that is going on is a conversation about feeling. What I'm feeling at the moment. I'm fearful, I'm angry, I'm anxious. And we are going to call it the feeling conversation. The third conversation is about identity. And every time we are in a difficult conversation, there is a challenge to how we feel, how we perceive stuff, how we are perceived by the other people, and how we perceive ourselves. And all the things are going on at the same time. Really tough. Now I'm going to show you a little video clip. There are two people talking. They are going to share some ideas, and we're going to try to decode later on what's happening in this conversation.
It's just, there's all this pressure, And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me, and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless, and I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I'll bet if we got that out of there...
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing...
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
Yeah, see, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See,
out.
you're not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just... Sometimes it's like there's this achy... I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. All of them.
That sounds really hard.
It is. Thank you. Ow!
Oh, come on. Ow. If you would just...
Don't...
Try to see things my way. Do I have to keep on...
So, what is the story? The two individuals involved in this conversation have two completely different stories about what's going on. And when we look at the what happened conversation, there are always three elements So the story that we are running in our head, the story that the other person is running in his head, are three elements. The first element is who's right. In a difficult conversation, we think we are right. The other people think they are right. The second element, what are the intention? Who meant what? So why is he saying that? What is he trying to achieve? What is she trying to achieve? The third element is who is to blame. So who's responsible for the mess? So who's right? When we look at the conversation before, who's right? So she has lots of feeling that she wants to share. He identify a problem. The stories running in their head is different. Which story is right? And the second thing is, when we look into difficult conversation, they are hardly ever about the fact, but is most likely and almost always about what is happening behind the perceptions, the interpretations. The second thing is that the intention invention. So we assume always that we know the intention of the other person. We hardly ever know that. And quite frequently people have conflicting intentions. And I have conflicting intention. I'm doing something for the benefit of the patient. But at the same time, the same things is going to help me building my career. So are two different intentions coexisting. Other people may perceive one or the other. And the blame frame. So who's responsible for the mess we are in? So from her point of view, he is not listening. So this difficult conversation is about him, not unable to listen. From his point of view, the difficult conversation is about the blame is on her, because if she only would listen and realize that she has a nail in her head, everything would be absolutely fine. So feelings. Feeling is the second level of conversation that is always going on and is extremely important. The moment in which the conversation starts relaxing is in the moment in which he listens, and at one point he say, it must be really hard for you. She relaxes. So as soon as feeling is recognized and slightly taken out of the equation, that is a point where you can start discussing and having a conversation. Unless that happens, the conversation doesn't go anywhere. The third is about identity. Okay, so we always like to see ourselves in a positive light, but sometimes in the conversation we find ourselves actually starting hedging and moving towards the role that is not really the right one. So, and when we start feeling, okay, I'm not longer the hero here, so I've really cocked it up, I've done something wrong, okay, will I be able to survive with myself thinking that I'm the villain? And will other people see me as the villain? So how do we move forward? How do we move forward? So what I like you to do, so I'll give you one simple advice in the next 2-3 minutes. What I'd like you to do is to start to look at conversations that are happening around you and see if you can see the 3 different layers, okay? Quite a lot of identity clashes, what is my identity of the super strong surgeon happen in our rooms during the scientific sessions. So it is a battle of message. So we move from a battle of message where I really want, and my purpose is for you to listen to what I'm going to say. And we move into a learning conversation. So we shift the purpose of the interaction from I want you to listen into I want to learn the 3 stories that are going on at the same time inside your head. The what is happening, the feelings that you have about it, and the identity. Every time we are touching the identity, we are rising strong feeling, and those 2 conversations really impair our ability to move on the what is happening conversation. Think simply when you're trying to give feedback to one of your trainees, or maybe feedback to one of your superior, what is actually happening? If you are, if their identity is I'm a super strong and super fancy surgeon, and they have made a mistakes, and is the what happened? But that's not the issue. The issue is that you are start crashing their identities. I'm a really good surgeon, and that is going to drive strong feeling. And that is what we need to be being able to manage more effectively, to work better in teams.
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
So the short message is improve your communication skill. That will really improve your teamwork. And if you are slightly interested in these things and you want to explore more, there is going to be a new course of non-technical skills starting hopefully in October. Please join. Thank you very much.